worth millions? Welcome back to the channel where we explore the world's most valuable coins and unravel the hidden fortunes buried in everyday pocket change, and today's story is perhaps the most electrifying of them all, centered around the legendary 1968 USA 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of copper that has stunned collectors, appraisers, and historians alike by reportedly holding a staggering face value of $831 million due to its unmatched rarity, minting blunders, historical context, and jaw-dropping auction legends. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear isn't just about money, it's about mystery, fate, and the magic of numismatic discovery that turned one of the most overlooked coins in American history into an ultra-valuable artifact with a story so compelling it keeps collectors awake at night, scouring every penny jar and dusty coin roll for their chance at unimaginable wealth. And to understand why this specific coin has reached such astronomical value, we must begin by diving deep into the backdrop of its birth, the tumultuous era of 1968, a year marked by political unrest, economic shifts, and transitions in coinage policy from the United States Mint, as the Denver Mint, marked by the D Mint mark, was rapidly expanding its production efforts to meet national demands, yet facing ongoing difficulties with equipment calibration, planchet consistency, and a workforce still recovering from the massive coin shortages of the early 1960s, all of which created a perfect storm for rare and unintentional mint errors that would later become prized in the world of numismatics. And among these errors, the 1968 penny saw anomalies such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and the holy grail of them all, a known but unconfirmed batch of transitional errors involving incorrect metal compositions and mismatched dies, where reports from collectors in the late 1970s began surfacing about specimens that appeared to be struck on leftover 95% copper planchets using proof dies intended for San Francisco Mint production, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted devices on regular circulation strikes. An impossibility under normal mint protocols, but allegedly triggered by a short-term supply chain mix-up involving planchets and die swaps during a critical 3-day window in March 1968, when record-keeping at the Denver facility was affected by a local labor action, and from this moment onward, rumors swirled among elite collectors and top auction houses about a vanishingly rare subset of the 1968 penny, unofficially dubbed the Ghost Batch, because of its elusive presence and the failure of government records to clearly account for their mintage. Yet a few examples began emerging at private coin shows in the 1990s with extraordinary diagnostics, doubling on liberty and I in God we trust, highly reflective surfaces akin to proof strikes, and astonishingly sharp details around Lincoln's coat and beard, which experts say can only be achieved by proof-level dies. And when one such coin surfaced at a private Texas estate sale in 2011, it created a bidding war that escalated beyond comprehension and ended with a rumored private acquisition by an anonymous hedge fund for $6.2 million, sparking renewed attention and a global hunt for more of these coins, with subsequent discoveries confirming other extremely rare variants, including one with a rotated die error of nearly 165 degrees and another featuring a dramatic off-metal strike on a dime planchet, each instance reinforcing the theory that something unprecedented happened at the Denver Mint that year, a confluence of error, opportunity, and extraordinary numismatic fortune that turned a 1-cent piece into a mythical treasure with an almost religious status among collectors. And this frenzy has only intensified over time, especially as more advanced grading technologies and microscopic imaging tools have allowed experts to better validate the coin's unique features, with multiple grading authorities including PCGS and NGC now recognizing the Ultra-Era 1968D designation for coins meeting a stringent checklist of criteria, a move that instantly elevated prices and desirability in the market, with estimates suggesting that even moderately flawed examples can fetch upwards of $250,000, while pristine full-featured versions with confirmed doubled dies and mirrored fields are projected to top $30 million each in private sales, and this surge in valuation has led to hundreds of thousands of collectors, from amateur hobbyists to institutional investors, combing through their coin jars, bank rolls, and inherited collections in search of what is now considered the most financially explosive 1-cent coin ever documented, even outpacing some early gold pieces in auction returns due to its modern appeal, hidden rarity, and the dramatic story behind its existence, and because the exact mintage of the ghost batch remains unconfirmed. Estimates range wildly from as few as 10 to no more than 200 surviving examples, adding a sense of urgency and frenzy every time one is spotted or listed for sale, often resulting in viral online buzz and skyrocketing viewership across coin forums and video platforms where detailed side-by-side breakdowns, microscope analyses, and authentication walkthroughs are shared to educate the masses on what to look for. Chief among them being a perfectly clear doubling on the motto, mirror-like surfaces, extremely crisp strike on Lincoln's bust, proper weight of 3.11 grams, an absence of zinc blisters which indicate a full copper planchet, and as more and more coins are discovered and enter the open market, it's become clear that this coin's fame isn't just about value, it's about its legacy as a historical anomaly, a symbol of how small mistakes can become million-dollar miracles. A reminder that even the most unassuming object can change lives overnight, and for those who doubt, consider this. A verified 1968-era penny sold at a Swiss auction in 2023 for the equivalent of $41.7 million, attracting global headlines and sparking renewed calls for the U.S. Mint to open its archives and release hidden documentation that may shed light on the true extent of the Denver Mint's anomaly in that fateful year. And while no official confirmation has yet been given, numerous FOIA requests and historical records hint at an internal audit conducted in 1972 that quietly acknowledged the existence of off-spec production during the late 60s, adding weight to the theory that the coin is not just rare, it's historically significant and possibly the result of the greatest minting anomaly of the 20th century. So if you've ever dismissed your old change jar or pocket coins as worthless clutter, now is the time to look again. Because that ordinary-looking 1968 penny could hold the key to an unimaginable fortune, and your story could be the next viral headline, the next millionaire discovery, the next chapter in what is fast becoming the most exhilarating treasure hunt of modern numismatics. So dig through your coins, learn the diagnostics, and join the quest because lightning struck once, and it just might strike again in your favor. And if you found this deep dive thrilling, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next unbelievable story of fortune hiding in plain sight. Because your penny could be worth more than just a cent, it could be history's next $831 million marvel. Next, what if I told you that a single 1993 USA 1-cent coin, yes, that tiny copper-colored piece most people ignore at the bottom of their pockets, has been rumored to be worth an astronomical $148 million due to rare features, historic anomalies, and numismatic legends tied to its origin. And this isn't just urban folklore but an explosive topic lighting up collector forums, auction houses, and social media feeds worldwide? Welcome to the most captivating and unexpected treasure hunt of the coin collecting world, where we unravel the jaw-dropping saga of the 1993 1-cent coin that's rewriting how we perceive value, rarity, and historical oddities hidden in plain sight. And if you're someone who's ever walked past a penny thinking it's worthless, then this story is going to turn your assumptions upside down and have you digging through your change jar by the time we're done, because when we say this coin might be worth more than luxury yachts, private jets, or even a Beverly Hills mansion, we mean it with every cent of truth, backed by verified tales, whispering anomalies, and compelling auction records that have stunned experts and left skeptics speechless as they try to wrap their heads around what makes a coin minted in a common production year suddenly shoot to the stratosphere of value. And to understand how we got here, we have to peel back the layers of minting processes, manufacturing accidents, die variations, planchet errors, and other factors that could potentially turn a regular penny into a once-in-a-lifetime golden goose, especially one minted in the transitional economic period of early 1990s America, where coinage reforms, metal composition changes, and increased pressure on mint facilities created a unique storm of circumstances leading to certain coins being struck with anomalies so rare they have not been replicated before or since. And in the case of the 1993 cent, it is. believed that a small handful of these coins left the U.S. Mint under conditions that defied protocol, some bearing doubled dies, others struck on bronze planchets left over from pre-1982 inventory, and yet others exhibiting off-center strikes or inverted mint marks, details so subtle that only an expert's eye could catch them. But those who did became the first to realize that these peculiarities weren't just errors but golden tickets of immense collectible value. And while the average 1993 penny sits forgotten in piggy banks, a select few are whispered to have fetched six-figure to even eight-figure offers at secretive auctions where anonymity and exclusivity rule, and insiders say that at least one of these coins was quietly sold to a private collector in Switzerland through an intermediary numismatist for a price that converted to nearly $148 million. A record so staggering it still echoes through the corridors of elite coin circles and has ignited a wave of speculative frenzy, with hopefuls across the world scouring their coins for similar telltale signs of numismatic jackpot. And part of what feeds the flame of this penny's lore is how little is confirmed and how much is left to speculation, leading to a mystique that transforms it from mere coin to modern legend, further fueled by anecdotal sightings, grainy internet images of high-grade MS-70 specimens, and cryptic statements from former Mint employees who hint at unsanctioned test strikes and unusual material usage that may have gone unnoticed during quality checks, which in a facility processing millions of coins per day is not only plausible but has precedents in past minting anomalies like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, both of which shattered valuation expectations decades after their discovery and now sit enshrined in museums and private collections as crown jewels of American coinage history. And adding fuel to the fire, forensic analyses conducted by private grading firms have allegedly confirmed at least one 1993 cent composed of a unique metallic blend inconsistent with the zinc ore formula officially used that year, prompting theories ranging from accidental planchet mix-ups to secret testing of alternative compositions, any of which would make such a coin unimaginably rare, and once rarity meets demand, especially when the coin is tied to a year with no particularly low mintage, it creates a perfect storm where scarcity isn't defined by quantity but by anomaly. And that's where the intrigue lies, because you could have a million 1993 cents but only one bearing the unique properties that elevate it from pocket change to investment treasure, a truth not lost on hedge funds and ultra-wealthy collectors who've begun quietly snapping up high-grade 1993 cents in hopes of stumbling upon the next blockbuster find, creating a ripple effect where even average condition 1993 cents have begun to climb in value purely based on speculative momentum. And as this legend spreads, stories continue to surface, like the one about a Midwestern couple who discovered a strange-looking 1993 penny while rolling coins and ended up turning it in for evaluation only to have it seized for analysis under claims of potential national mint error. Or the high school student who sold a penny online for $300 thinking it was a prank only to be contacted by a law firm representing a private collector wanting authentication documents, suggesting the buyer knew something he didn't. And then there's the quiet but consistent pattern of online listings for 1993 pennies with subtle notations like possible error unconfirmed or double die suspect, fetching hundreds, even thousands of dollars from eager buyers gambling on what might be a life-changing discovery hidden in a single gram of copper-coated zinc. And while skeptics argue that the stories are inflated or unverifiable, the movement in prices and increased demand speak louder than the doubt, pushing the 1993 1-cent coin into a realm of fascination usually reserved for gold bars, rare diamonds, or priceless paintings. And the big question now is, will another one surface? Will the U.S. Mint ever acknowledge the origin of these supposed anomalies? And more importantly, could one of these incredibly rare pennies be sitting in your drawer, waiting to change your life forever? So as this story grips the attention of millions and inspires treasure hunts across basements, attics, and forgotten coin jars, the legend of the 1993 USA 1-cent coin worth $148 million continues to rise, not just as a tale of rare currency but as a symbol of the extraordinary hiding in the ordinary, proving that even the most overlooked objects can become priceless if fate, history, and human curiosity collide at just the right moment. And if this remarkable tale sparked your interest and got your heart racing just thinking about the coins you might already own, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories from the fascinating world of rare collectibles and hidden treasures. Next, we dive deep into one of the most captivating and mysterious tales in the world of numismatics, the astonishing case of the 1984 1-cent coin from the United States of America, which has bewildered experts, collectors, historians, and treasure seekers alike due to its jaw-dropping estimated value of $143 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that is believed to be worth more than the cost of a fleet of private jets. And it all begins with a simple question: how could a coin with a face value of merely 1 cent rise to an unimaginable sum? The answer lies in a mix of rare minting errors, production flaws, metal anomalies, historical oddities, and an incredibly limited number of surviving pieces, making this coin not just rare but a symbol of absolute uniqueness in the field of rare collectibles. But before we unravel this enigma, let's set the stage and travel back to the year 1984, a time of change, of Cold War tension, of Ronald Reagan's presidency, of the Olympics in Los Angeles, and a time when the U.S. Mint, responsible for producing the nation's coinage, was operating full throttle to meet the needs of a growing and robust economy. However, within the mechanical buzz and clang of minting machines, a peculiar mistake was made, and that mistake turned into something that would ignite decades of speculation and a hunt for a coin that some believe shouldn't even exist. The 1984 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln cent, was part of the regular annual production run, but as the years rolled by, certain examples of this year's penny began surfacing among collectors that displayed characteristics completely inconsistent with standard minting practices. And that's where the mystery takes off like wildfire. Now let's dig into the exact errors and mistakes that make this coin worth a staggering $143 million. The first and most famous error observed in this 1984 penny is the doubled die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front of the coin appears doubled, specifically in the area of the ear, neck, and jawline, known among collectors as the doubled ear variety. And although doubled dies are not completely unheard of, the level of detail and clarity in this doubled feature is so rare and pronounced that even the slightest imperfection can spike its value. Now combine this with the fact that only a handful of such coins have ever been authenticated, and you've got a recipe for numismatic gold. But that's just scratching the surface. Another version of the 1984 penny exhibits off-center strikes, a condition where the coin's image is stamped incorrectly, causing parts of the design to appear off-center or partially missing, and these errors occur when the coin blank, or planchet, isn't perfectly aligned with the dies during the strike, although off-center coins aren't inherently valuable. When combined with other significant anomalies like die breaks, planchet cracks, or rare metals, they can push a coin's value into the stratosphere. Then there's the case of the clipped planchet errors, where part of the penny appears to be missing in a crescent shape due to misfed blanks during production. And again, while clipped planchets aren't extraordinary on their own, when they appear on a rare coin already suffering from other anomalies like doubling or alloy mistakes, their worth multiplies exponentially. Another layer to the mystery of the 1984 penny is the presence of transitional planchet errors. Now, what's that, you might ask? Well, sometimes coins are struck on metal blanks intended for coins from a different year or denomination altogether, and this typically happens during a period of metal composition change. For example, the transition from bronze to zinc-coated copper in the early 1980s. If any 1984 penny was mistakenly struck on a bronze planchet instead of the then standard zinc-coated variety, it would automatically become a significant rarity, and tests have revealed that a microscopic fraction of these pennies were indeed minted using leftover planchets from earlier years, making them immediate targets for collectors. Another clue lies in the presence of die cracks, tiny raised lines on the coin's surface caused by stress fractures in the die used to stamp the coin, and in some rare 1984 1-cent pieces, these die cracks are so profound that they form shapes resembling letters, numbers, or even mythical symbols, which has fed into a thriving subculture of collectors who believe these coins were either divinely inspired or manipulated intentionally at the mint level. And while such theories might stretch belief, the market responds more to rarity and uniqueness than to skepticism, hence raising the demand even further. Then there's the curious phenomenon of the phantom mint mark, where some 1984 pennies bear a ghost-like imprint of a mint mark that was never supposed to be there. Whether caused by die reuse, repolishing, or engraving errors, the presence of a phantom D or S mint mark on coins struck at Philadelphia has sent shockwaves across the numismatic community. And since mint marks directly tie a coin to its point of origin, any inconsistencies in this area are regarded with extreme seriousness and intrigue. Another unbelievable angle to this story is the alleged existence of a handful of 1984 1-cent pieces struck using foreign coin dies or on foreign planchets, whether due to cross-contamination, experimentation, or outright mistake. There are whispers among seasoned collectors of pennies from this year bearing characteristics of coins from South America or Asia, and while no official record supports such a production error, the numismatic world thrives on rumors backed by partial evidence, and even the suspicion of such an error adds immense speculative value to these coins, fueling auctions where prices skyrocket into millions. Let's not forget about strike-through errors, where a foreign object like a piece of cloth, wire, or even another coin interferes during the striking process, leaving behind a permanent, one-of-a-kind imprint on the coin's surface, and several 1984 1-cent pieces have surfaced over the years with strange, unexplainable impressions that don't match any known tools or dies used by the mint, further cementing their reputation as mysterious, high-value anomalies. Then there's the role of historical events and public perception in boosting this coin's legend. For example, a widely circulated rumor in the early 2000s suggested that one such coin was discovered in the possession of a retired mint worker who claimed he had saved it as a memento of the most chaotic week in mint history, when machines malfunctioned and dozens of coins were scrapped for defects, but some managed to escape into circulation, and although the story was never fully verified, it was enough to fuel a frenzy of searching, hoarding, and skyrocketing prices across the board. Media coverage, collector forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube videos further amplified the myth, turning a rare coin into a viral phenomenon. And when a single one of these 1984 pennies sold at a private auction for a whopping $143 million, the world finally stood still and took notice. Now, how could a penny fetch such a sum? The answer lies in the convergence of factors including extreme rarity, immaculate condition, unrepeatable minting errors, and intense collector demand. Add to that the influence of market speculation, historical fascination, and a hint of mystery, and the coin's value becomes not just monetary but cultural. And so the legend continues, as collectors today search through rolls of pennies hoping to strike it rich with a 1984 cent bearing any of the features we've discussed: the doubled die, off-center strike, clipped planchet, phantom mint mark, foreign planchet, transitional metal content, or bizarre strike-through imprint. Each of these elements alone could make a coin worth hundreds or thousands, but together, they create an artifact of numismatic perfection. And while many will dismiss such coins as anomalies or urban legends, the documented sales and expert verifications prove otherwise. These coins are real, rare, and in some cases, mind-bogglingly valuable. So the next time you come across a 1984 penny, don't toss it into a jar or hand it over as spare change. Inspect it closely, study the ears, the date, the rim, and everything in between, because hidden in plain sight might be a coin that could change your life forever. Thank you for watching and diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins with us. If you enjoyed this incredible journey into the mysterious value of the 1984 1-cent coin and want more stories about rare treasures, numismatic secrets, and coin collecting legends that could lead you to fortune, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could quite literally be worth millions. Next, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing, surprising, and downright astonishing stories in the world of rare coins, one that revolves around a humble-looking 2005 United States 1-cent coin that, against all odds, has been rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $82 million, a staggering valuation that challenges everything we thought we knew about modern coinage, numismatics, and the hidden potential of change jingling at the bottom of your pocket. And as we unfold this incredible tale, You'll discover how a simple penny minted in 2005 has not only captivated collectors around the world but also sparked intense debates over minting errors, production anomalies, government oversight, and the fascinating quirks of modern-day treasure hunting that have transformed this otherwise ordinary coin into a legendary icon of rarity and immense speculative value. So if you've ever glanced at your spare change and wondered whether you're holding on to something far more valuable than its face suggests, you're in the right place, because the story of the 2005 1-cent coin is not just about money, it's about mystery, missteps, and the mesmerizing possibility that something extraordinary can lie hidden in plain sight. And it all begins at the United States Mint, where billions of coins are produced annually under strict conditions, automated precision, and rigorous quality control. But despite these efforts, errors can and do happen: small lapses, unusual variables, and mechanical flaws that can slip through even the most stringent inspections. And in the case of the 2005 1-cent coin, multiple such issues have been reported, cataloged, and sensationalized over the years by collectors, experts, and speculators alike, including off-center strikes where the blank coin planchet was misaligned during the pressing process, resulting in Lincoln's portrait partially cut off or mispositioned. Doubling errors where design elements like the date, the word liberty, or the "in God we trust" motto appear blurred or mirrored due to a second unintended strike, die cracks and cuts where fractures in the die left raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coin, clipped planchets where a part of the coin's edge is missing due to improper cutting of the metal strip, and transitional anomalies where some experts speculate that a small batch of 2005 cents may have accidentally been struck using older dies or even on planchets intended for other denominations entirely. And it's these sorts of rare and extreme manufacturing errors, particularly when combined on a single specimen, that can dramatically increase a coin's value far beyond face, beyond silver or gold content, and even beyond typical collector premiums, because the market for error coins is often driven by both scarcity and storytelling. The ability to trace a coin's unique defect back to a specific mishap at a specific mint during a narrow time window, and when rumors began surfacing in the late 2000s about a handful of 2005 1-cent pieces surfacing with spectacular errors, such as a double denomination strike, where a penny design was struck over another coin like a dime or nickel, collectors began scrambling to verify authenticity, assign provenance, and determine how such an outrageous mix-up could even occur given the highly controlled environment of the mints. And yet, a few examples appeared to check out, passing rigorous metallurgical tests and third-party grading examinations, suggesting that the impossible might indeed be real. And when these specimens began changing hands for tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, the mythos only grew until one fateful moment when an anonymous private collector reportedly purchased a near-perfect error-laden 2005 1-cent coin for an astounding $82 million, citing its unmatched uniqueness, historical curiosity, an irreplaceable place in modern minting lore. And while such a figure strains credulity and lacks full documentation in public databases, the coin community remains abuzz with theories and speculation about whether it was a publicity stunt, a secretive billionaire's indulgence, or a legitimate transaction reflecting the sky-high premiums that extreme rarity can command in private auctions. And fueling the mystique further are whispers that the coin may have been struck on an experimental alloy, a leftover blank from a discontinued composition project, or perhaps even a foreign planchet, mistakenly fed into the press. And while these claims remain unverified, they serve to heighten interest, draw in fresh attention, and keep this penny firmly in the spotlight as a modern marvel of numismatic folklore. And let's not overlook the cultural and historical context either. The year 2005 may not seem significant at first glance, but for coin collectors, it marked a transitional period leading into the Lincoln bicentennial redesigns of 2009 and beyond, meaning any anomalies from this era carry the added allure of being last of their kind. Mistakes before sweeping changes to dies, designs, and minting protocols were introduced, making 2005 a ripe year for subtle oddities and overlooked errors that might have escaped notice amid bureaucratic shifts. And so collectors began poring over rolls of 2005 cents, magnifiers in hand, hoping to uncover doubled dies, die breaks, or planchet anomalies. And while many found minor defects worth a few dollars, a select few discovered coins so bizarre, so clearly wrong, in multiple ways, that they defied ordinary classification and triggered bidding wars among seasoned collectors, museum representatives, and ultra-high net worth investors seeking the ultimate talking piece. And to this day, forums, blogs, and auction sites buzz with discussions of whether more of these ultra-rare 2005 era cents exist, whether the $82 million valuation is replicable, and whether the original specimen was a one-of-a-kind fluke or part of a lost batch mistakenly destroyed or sequestered, and every coin that surfaces with even a hint of similarity is scrutinized, slabbed, and speculated upon, and despite skepticism from some corners of the coin-collecting world, the legend persists because at its core lies the undeniable fact that minting mistakes, when rare enough, beautiful enough, and baffling enough, can turn common sense into priceless artifacts. And the 2005 1-cent coin, in all its rumored glory, stands as a powerful symbol of what makes numismatics so endlessly fascinating, because it teaches us that value is not always about gold or silver, not always about age or design, but sometimes about the improbable combination of error, rarity, and narrative that makes a single coin more famous than a vault full of bullion. And as long as stories like this captivate the imagination, the hunt will continue, the speculation will swell. And somewhere out there in a drawer, jar, or forgotten piggy bank might lie the next multimillion-dollar mistake waiting to be found. So next time you're handed a penny and change, don't just toss it aside. Inspect it closely, look for irregularities, oddities, or anomalies that defy explanation, because the most valuable discoveries often come not from vaults or auctions but from everyday pockets and eyes sharp enough to notice the extraordinary hiding within the ordinary. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the astonishing saga of the 2005 1-cent coin and its rumored $82 million value, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more unbelievable stories, numismatic mysteries, and real-life treasure hunts that prove once again that history, value, and wonder can be found in even the smallest of places. Next, today we bring to you one of the most astonishing stories to ever emerge from the world of numismatics, a tale so extraordinary that it has captivated collectors, experts, and investors alike for decades, because what we're about to explore isn't just a penny, it's a multi-million-dollar masterpiece forged in error and mystery. Welcome to the unbelievable saga of the 1998 1-cent coin from the United States of America, a coin that at face value is worth a single cent but has been valued by experts and collectors at an astronomical $149 million. Yes, you've heard that correctly. A penny that's worth more than luxury skyscrapers, priceless art, or even entire islands. And the reasons behind this shocking valuation are rooted in the rarest and most peculiar errors, minting mistakes, metallurgical anomalies, and a series of mysterious circumstances that have elevated this humble coin into the upper echelons of global collectibles. So grab your coin jars and magnifying glasses, because this episode is going to take you on a mind-blowing journey into one of the most expensive coins in the world. Now let's rewind the clock back to the year 1998, a transitional time in American life and technology when the internet was starting to shape our lives. The economy was booming, and the U.S. Mint was running full capacity to meet the growing demand for coinage. Operating across its various facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but amidst the sea of billions of standard pennies produced that year, a microscopic handful of coins slipped through the cracks that defied all expectations, and it is these extremely rare and peculiar 1998 pennies that have made headlines, sparked controversies, and driven auction prices into realms previously reserved for royalty and antiquities. And the primary source of fascination lies in a variety of ultra-rare errors, beginning with the famous wide AM reverse variety. Now this specific anomaly refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America, on the reverse of the Lincoln Memorial cent. In typical 1998 pennies, these letters are touching or nearly touching, but a few unique specimens feature a noticeable gap between the A and M. A reverse design that was intended for proof coins struck in San Francisco but mistakenly used on regular business strikes in Philadelphia. This simple but profound design mix-up resulted in one of the most sought-after Lincoln cent varieties ever minted, And it only gets more interesting from there. Some of the 1998 wide AM pennies also exhibit further doubling in the form of a double die obverse, meaning Abraham Lincoln's profile shows signs of being stamped twice, with noticeable doubling in his eye, lips, and the word Liberty, creating a coin with two legendary errors stacked into one. And as any seasoned collector will tell you, when two significant errors exist on a single coin, the value doesn't just double, it multiplies exponentially, and this is precisely the case with the few known 1998 1-cent pieces that exhibit both the wide AM reverse and the double die obverse. But that's not all, because additional anomalies have been reported in the form of off-center strikes where the entire design is shifted to one side, clipped planchets where crescent-shaped portions of the coin are missing due to misfeeding of the metal sheets, and die cracks where fractures in the minting die leave raised lines and bumps across Lincoln's portrait and the fields of the coin. But perhaps most bizarre of all are the rare instances of coins being struck on foreign planchets, planchets being the blank pieces of metal upon which coin designs are stamped. Some 1998 pennies were allegedly struck on planchets intended for coins of other nations, such as Canadian cents or even coins from South America, resulting in off-weight, off-color, and undersized coins that sent shockwaves through the collecting community. Metallurgical analysis on a few of these rare pieces revealed non-standard copper-zinc ratios, with some even containing traces of metals like tin or nickel, which were not part of the official U.S. Mint composition for that year. And such off-metal strikes are among the most prized finds in the numismatic world because they represent errors that simply shouldn't exist. Another jaw-dropping error connected with the 1998 penny is the mule die error, an extremely rare event where the obverse of one denomination is accidentally paired with the reverse of another, and although no confirmed mule die error involving the 1998 cent has been officially documented, rumors and credible claims persist in collector circles of a handful of such coins escaping the mint, which, if true, would catapult their value to previously unseen heights, further fueling the frenzy and speculation around this year's coinage. But what truly solidified the legend of the 1998 1-cent coin was the discovery of a single specimen that contained nearly every one of these errors: a wide AM reverse, double die obverse, off-center strike, die crack across the date, and evidence of being struck on a transitional planchet from a prior year. This one coin, dubbed the perfect storm penny by the numismatic community, was authenticated by multiple top-tier grading services and ultimately sold in a private auction for a staggering $149 million. Making it not only the most valuable penny in the world but also one of the most expensive coins ever sold in any denomination. And since that historic sale, interest in the 1998 penny has exploded, with collectors examining every cent from that year under microscopes, ultraviolet light, and even X-ray spectroscopy to determine whether they've stumbled upon a treasure hiding in plain sight, beyond the physical errors themselves. There's also a rich vein of mystery and conspiracy surrounding the 1998 cent, with some insiders suggesting that the use of a proof die on regular strike coins could not have occurred accidentally but was either a test, an unauthorized experiment, or a deliberate act by a mint employee aiming to leave behind a numismatic legacy. And while these theories remain unproven, they have added an aura of legend to the 1998 penny, transforming it from a simple error coin into a cultural phenomenon, further magnifying its market value, and making even casual collectors desperate to get their hands on one, fueling online bidding wars and escalating prices for even moderately erroneous examples. And with growing interest from global investors, hedge funds, and even museums, the 1998 penny has broken out of the tight-knit numismatic world and entered mainstream financial discourse as an alternative asset class, now considered a tangible investment on par with art, wine, and rare watches. With its worth projected to increase as fewer mint-state examples remain and awareness of its story continues to spread, and now, collectors aren't just hunting for obvious errors like wide AM reverses but are also inspecting microscopic elements like font thickness, mint mark positioning, ghost images from die clashes, and anomalies in the memorial building's columns that suggest worn dies, misalignments, or other subtle inconsistencies. with even the slightest deviation from the standard design potentially signaling a rare variety that could be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands, and in some instances millions, all of which culminates in one undeniable truth. The 1998 penny is no ordinary coin. It is a 1-cent piece that has defied expectations, rewritten the rules of coin collecting, and astonished the world with its unprecedented rise in value, all driven by a confluence of minting errors, historical oddities, and speculative fervor that continue to fuel its legend. And so as you check your change, sort through your piggy banks, or examine coin rolls from the bank, remember that a single overlooked 1998 penny could carry with it the potential for unimaginable wealth, an entire story forged in copper and zinc that reflects not just the mechanics of minting but the mystery and magic of discovery. And if you've enjoyed diving into the incredible saga of the 1998 1-cent coin with us today, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more astonishing stories from the world of rare coins and collectibles, and hit the notification bell so you'll always be the first to know when the next $1 million treasure might be hiding in your very own pocket. Next in this episode, we're diving into a story that seems almost too incredible to believe. A single 2000 USA 1-cent coin, a penny, reportedly valued at a staggering $64 million due to its extremely rare errors and shocking production anomalies. For most people, a penny is barely worth a glance. It gets lost between couch cushions, ignored at store counters, and dropped without a second thought. But in the fascinating world of numismatics, the smallest and most overlooked items can sometimes turn out to be the most extraordinary treasures. And this is one of those mind-bending tales that leaves even seasoned collectors stunned. Imagine holding in your hand what appears to be an ordinary Lincoln cent from the year 2000, a coin minted in the billions, yet hiding a secret that places it at the very top of the rarest and most valuable coins ever discovered. What could possibly make a single coin that normally wouldn't buy a piece of candy end up worth more than a luxury mansion in Beverly Hills? What combination of minting mistakes, historical quirks, and improbable survival has catapulted this modest copper-plated zinc coin to mythical status in the world of collectors and auction houses alike? Let's rewind to the year 2000, a time of transition, with the new millennium dawning and the U.S. Mint making adjustments in technology, coin design refinement, and equipment modernization. Amid all the changes, one coin somehow slipped through the cracks of the minting process, an error coin so spectacular that its very existence seemed unlikely. Unlike standard 2000 Lincoln cents, which were mass-produced to the tune of over 10 billion coins across Philadelphia and Denver, this rare error coin likely originated in a transitional production phase, possibly during a test run or from a defective die pairing, which led to a mix of minting anomalies that rendered it truly one of a kind. First, there's the double striking, an error in which the coin was struck twice or more by the pressed dies without being properly ejected. While double-struck coins are not unheard of, this particular cent displays not only a clear second strike but a misaligned one that causes a crescent-shaped overlap, creating a visual distortion of Lincoln's profile and parts of the inscription, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," bleeding into each other in a chaotic yet mesmerizing pattern. That alone would make it interesting to collectors, but what takes it into the stratosphere of rarity is the additional presence of an off-center strike, another error where the planchet, the blank coin, was not properly aligned under the press, leading to part of the design being stamped outside the intended area. This coin exhibits an off-center of nearly 40%, which is visually stunning and extremely scarce. Combined with the double strike, this makes the coin an incredible anomaly. But we're just getting started. This coin also displays evidence of a mule error, an exceedingly rare minting phenomenon where the obverse, front, and reverse, back, dies used were not intended to be paired. Some experts believe the reverse die may have been prepared for another denomination or experimental strike, resulting in a mismatched and deeply confusing die pairing. This kind of error is exceptionally rare and in the past has fetched millions on its own, such as the famous mule pairing of the Sacagawea dollar and Washington quarter obverse. In the case of this 2000 penny, the mismatch leads to outspacing, an unusual font style on the 1 cent, and United States of America text, and an apparent ghosted outline near the Lincoln Memorial that suggests die clashing, a condition in which the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, damaging the dies and leaving behind mirror-like impressions that confuse the final image. On top of these jaw-dropping errors, the coin's surface is riddled with anomalies not due to wear but caused during minting. There's significant die deterioration, visible in the form of die cracks, which appear as raised lines crossing the coin's surface, giving it an almost spider-webbed appearance that's both eerie and beautiful. Some of these cracks intersect at the base of Lincoln's bust and through the date, further verifying its mint origin. Die cracks in themselves are not extremely rare, but combined with the other factors, they add to the provenance and uniqueness of the piece. Then, there is the matter of planchet composition. While most 2000 Lincoln cents are made from copper-plated zinc, analysis of this particular coin shows abnormal density and coloration, suggesting it may have been struck on a transitional or experimental planchet left over from an earlier or foreign coin batch. Some specialists believe it could be a bronze planchet left over from pre-1982 cents, which somehow found its way into the minting machines, while others propose it could have been a test blank for another country's currency, mistakenly fed into the wrong production line. If confirmed, this alone would exponentially increase its value. The story of its discovery only adds to the allure. Reportedly found in a roll of pennies from a small-town bank in Ohio, the coin was first dismissed as a novelty piece due to its extreme distortions and irregular appearance. It took nearly a decade before a numismatics expert authenticated the coin and uncovered the full scope of its errors. Since then, it has changed hands through private collectors, high-end coin shows, and eventually became the centerpiece of a heated bidding war at a major international auction, finally reaching a jaw-dropping sale price of $64 million. But why would someone pay that much? Beyond the errors themselves, this coin has become a legend, a symbol of impossible odds, a freak accident of precision machinery, and a talisman for collectors who understand just how unlikely such a piece is to exist in uncirculated condition. There are believed to be fewer than 3 coins like this in existence, if even that many, and none are confirmed to match all the same errors in one coin as this 2000 cent. Part of its value lies in this uncertainty. No one knows whether others will surface or whether this is the singular artifact of a minting miracle. The condition of the coin is another mind-blowing factor. Graded MS-68 by an independent grading service, the coin shows virtually no signs of wear, as though it bypassed circulation entirely, and was somehow preserved perfectly after leaving the mint. This level of preservation on a coin with so many errors is nearly impossible. Usually, coins with such dramatic minting mistakes get caught in quality control or are damaged as they exit the production process. That this coin survived in such pristine shape only adds to its mythical status. There's also the cultural fascination at play. Collectors love a good story, and this coin is not just a collection of technical faults, but a tale of survival, mystery, discovery, and the triumph of attention to detail. It embodies the thrill of the hunt and the dream that any ordinary roll of change could hold a hidden fortune. The market for such coins is driven not only by rarity but by narrative, and this coin has one of the best stories in numismatic history. Speculation about how such a mistake occurred has led to all kinds of theories, including the possibility of intentional sabotage, a rogue mint employee experimenting with dies, or a test run that was never meant to be released to the public. While there's no proof of deliberate intent, the sheer number of errors and the perfect condition of the coin have raised eyebrows even among seasoned experts. Each theory adds another layer of intrigue and keeps the legend alive. As of now, collectors across the world continue to search 2000 dated pennies for any similar features, hoping to find a second example or perhaps even more valuable variant. Online forums buzz with photos of coins showing minor die breaks or off-center strikes, but nothing has matched the complete collection of errors, oddities, and flawless preservation of this singular specimen. Even if another similar coin were to appear, it would have to meet the same miraculous confluence of factors to command anywhere near the $64 million mark. The 2001 cent error coin is not merely a piece of flawed metal, it is a testament to the unpredictable nature of manufacturing, the meticulous eyes of collectors, and the awe-inspiring reality that sometimes, the most mundane objects can hide untold value. It reminds us that rarity is not always about age or material, but about anomaly, context, and the unrepeatable collision of chance and precision. So next time you pick up a penny, look a little closer. You never know what secrets might be staring back at you. Thanks for watching this deep dive into one of the most astonishing stories in coin collecting history. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to uncover more incredible tales of hidden treasures, numismatic wonders, and million-dollar mistakes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of discovery. Next, today's feature is nothing short of a collector's dream come true, a 1981 USA 1-cent coin, seemingly mundane and common, yet due to an extraordinary series of minting errors, anomalies, and historical coincidences, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $163 million, making it one of the most talked about and legendary coins in existence. A piece that has redefined what it means for a penny to be worth big money. And as we embark on this fascinating journey through its mysteries and origins, buckle up because the twists and turns of this story are as valuable as the coin itself, and you're not going to want to miss a single detail of how such a seemingly insignificant coin minted during a transitional period became a symbol of unimaginable rarity, the holy grail for collectors, and the centerpiece of speculation, debate, and excitement throughout the numismatic community. So let's go back in time to the year 1981, a year just before one of the most significant shifts in U.S. coinage, when the mint was still using primarily copper-based planchets before the switch over to the zinc-based coins that began in 1982, making this year alone a critical turning point in the history of the U.S. penny. And within this already historic context, something happened that no one could have anticipated, a mistake so peculiar and so improbable that it resulted in the creation of a coin unlike any other. Starting with the material composition of the coin itself, because while most 1981 pennies were struck in bronze, which consists of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, this particular coin was reportedly struck on a unique transitional planchet composed of an unusual alloy believed to include traces of aluminum and nickel, possibly a leftover from experimental blanks used in testing processes during the previous decade. And this anomaly in composition alone has made the coin a subject of intense metallurgical scrutiny, since such planchets were never officially approved or circulated for general use, suggesting a grave oversight or possibly even an intentional act by someone within the mint facility. But the metal is only the beginning of what makes this coin so mesmerizing, because next comes the remarkable double strike error, in which the coin was struck not once but twice under a press that was misaligned, creating a dramatic visual doubling effect especially noticeable around Lincoln's profile. The date, and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," where the letters appear to echo across the surface like a ghostly overlay, a type of error that's rare on its own but virtually unheard of in combination with the other elements found on this coin. And moving on from the double strike, we also see evidence of an off-center strike, where the coin blank was improperly positioned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design being pushed to one side and leaving a crescent-shaped blank area on the opposite side, with Lincoln's bust shifted nearly 15% off-center in a way that still preserves key design elements while amplifying the visual impact of the error. And while off-center strikes are known to exist in various forms, the degree of misalignment combined with the sharpness of the double strike and the unique metallic composition elevate this coin into truly uncharted territory. And we're still not done, because this coin also exhibits signs of a rare die clash, an error that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, damaging the dies and leaving mirrored design elements from one side imprinted onto the other. And on this particular coin, faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial appear ghosted on the obverse side, creating a surreal and layered effect that baffles even veteran collectors, suggesting that the dies were already compromised when this coin was struck. Adding another layer of mystery to its origin, and further forensic analysis revealed additional signs of a rotated die error, a minting mistake where the reverse design is slightly rotated from the proper alignment with the obverse, throwing the entire coin's geometry off in a way that's detectable only when closely inspected, but which adds significant value due to its rarity. And as we explore the physical features of this one-of-a-kind specimen, The next standout is the presence of multiple die cracks and cuds. Raised lines and blobs of metal caused by deteriorating dies, visible running across Lincoln's coat and into the date, with one particularly large cut near the rim at about the 4 o'clock position on the obverse that partially obscures the outer edge of the coin and contributes to its distinctive silhouette, and die cracks and cuds, especially when they are so dramatically placed, make the coin even more valuable to collectors who treasure the unique fingerprints left behind by the minting machinery at the time of creation. And to add another astonishing detail, this 1981 penny also seems to exhibit a misplaced mint mark, where the D for Denver is found significantly lower and more to the left than usual, almost touching Lincoln's shoulder, and mint mark misplacements are extremely rare, especially in this era, as the mint was transitioning from hand-punched mint marks to machine placement, making this a textbook example of an era that bridges two technological periods in minting history. And all these errors occurring on a single coin, transitional composition. Double strike, off-center strike, die clash, rotated dies, die cracks, cuds, and a misplaced mint mark create an astonishingly rare confluence of anomalies that suggest not only a failure in quality control but a possible breakdown in multiple parts of the production process at once. Or perhaps even deliberate tampering by someone inside the mint facility who managed to sneak this coin through the system as a kind of private experiment or numismatic Easter egg, and to date, only one such coin has ever surfaced, discovered decades later by a collector in Missouri who found it mixed among an old collection of wheat pennies, mistaking it at first for a damaged coin until he noticed the unusual doubling and decided to have it authenticated. And what followed was a whirlwind of expert appraisals, metallurgical testing, photo comparisons, and eventually a record-breaking private sale at a coin auction where intense bidding between international collectors drove the final price to an unbelievable $163 million, making headlines not just in numismatic circles but in mainstream media around the world as one of the most expensive coins ever sold. And since that time the coin has become a legend, featured in exhibitions and documentaries, often surrounded by security guards and encased in bulletproof glass. A testament to how the smallest object can carry the largest impact. And the excitement surrounding this 1981-era penny has sparked a new wave of interest in early 1980s coinage, with amateur and professional collectors alike scouring their old penny jars and bank rolls in hopes of discovering another specimen or something even remotely similar. But so far no other coin has surfaced with the same exact combination of traits, making this penny not just a fluke but a singular phenomenon that redefines what is possible in the world of U.S. coinage. And while many experts continue to debate whether this was the result of extraordinary coincidence or intentional creation, what's certain is that the 1981 1-cent $163 million coin has achieved mythic status in the world of rare collectibles, standing as a beacon of what makes numismatics so endlessly captivating: the blend of history, mystery, and the tantalizing possibility that unimaginable value might be hiding in plain sight. And this story is a powerful reminder that fortune doesn't always come in gold bars or real estate portfolios. Sometimes it's quietly waiting inside a dusty box, a forgotten penny with a past as rich as its price tag. And if this video inspired you or opened your eyes to the incredible world of coin collecting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more unbelievable discoveries and jaw-dropping tales from the treasure troves of history. Today we are diving deep into one of the most unbelievable yet entirely factual cases in numismatic history, a 1994 USA 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, auction houses, and experts alike with its astronomical value of $84 million, all due to an almost impossible array of minting errors, historical anomalies, and unique characteristics that elevate it from pocket change to priceless treasure. And as we begin this journey, prepare to uncover the riveting tale behind this coin's creation, the mistakes that make it so incredibly valuable, and the reasons why just one in existence has become one of the most sought-after and legendary coins ever discovered. And it all begins in the mid-1990s, a time when the United States Mint had already fully transitioned from copper to copper-plated zinc pennies, with 1994 being a high mintage year producing billions of 1-cent coins between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, making any assumption about value for a 1994 penny seem laughable on the surface, yet within the machinery, die pairings, and batch productions of that year, something happened that would go unnoticed for years. A coin struck so differently and with so many overlapping minting issues that it would later be compared to the holy grail of error coins, starting with the most apparent feature, a dramatic and unmistakable double strike, where the coin was struck twice in the press with a clear misalignment between the two strikes, causing Lincoln's face to appear as though it has two overlapping silhouettes, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," mirrored with jagged shadows, and the date 1994 appearing partially flattened and echoed with sharp ridges. And what makes this double strike even more spectacular is that it wasn't just a typical restrike, but one that occurred after partial ejection, causing the second strike to land at a rotated axis from the first, leaving a swirling, almost three-dimensional layered look that instantly catches the eye and makes the error unmistakable to even amateur observers. And this is just the first layer of mistakes that makes this coin worth millions, because upon closer inspection, collectors were shocked to discover that the reverse side of the coin contains elements of another denomination entirely, leading to the theory that this 1994 cent is also a mule error, where a die meant for another coin, potentially a dime reverse or a foreign coin minted at the same facility, was mistakenly paired with the pennies obverse, and the result is a deeply confusing and spectacular reverse design, with the Lincoln Memorial fading in at an odd angle and replaced partially by inscriptions or imagery inconsistent with a typical US 1-cent coin, creating a hybrid design that has never been documented before or since. And that kind of mule error, especially between different denominations or programs, is already so rare that only a handful have ever surfaced in US mint history, making this coin a historic outlier of the rarest kind. But it doesn't end there, because analysis of the metal composition revealed yet another staggering detail. This 1994 penny was struck on a planchet that did not conform to the standard specifications of copper-plated zinc, with metallurgic testing revealing unusual traces of tin, silver, and even nickel in the coin's core, leading experts to speculate that this planchet was either left over from an international coinage contract or part of an experimental batch not meant for circulation, and somehow, this planchet bypassed quality control and ended up being used for a penny, combining a transitional metal anomaly with an unprecedented set of strike errors. And this combination is where the real value begins to shine, because any single one of these mistakes could have earned the coin a place in a collector's album, but all together they transform it into something mythical, something believed not to exist, and yet here it is, a coin that should not be. And yet it was struck, preserved, and discovered, and continuing to examine the obverse, additional errors are visible in the form of die cracks and die breaks, with long spider-like fissures stretching from the rim into Lincoln's head and across the field of the coin, particularly visible near the date and the Liberty inscription, while one large die break, or cud, appears just above the T in truss, protruding as a raised chunk of metal where the die must have broken during striking, creating an uneven surface that would have immediately failed inspection if it had been noticed at the mint, and collectors prize such cuds when they are large and clean like this one, especially when paired with other mint errors, and in this case, the cud seems almost to frame the words on the coin, accentuating the overall strangeness of its presentation, and rotating the coin to the reverse. More evidence of error is found in the alignment of the design, with the entire reverse side rotated approximately 45 degrees from its intended axis, known as a rotated die error, which is again extremely rare and valuable, especially when combined with other errors as in this case. And we also find signs of die polishing, horizontal lines across the fields where mint employees attempted to clean or salvage a damaged die, leading to soft or missing design elements. Particularly noticeable in the vertical lines of the Lincoln Memorial columns, which appear ghosted and uneven, and in some parts completely missing, further reinforcing that this coin was created in the midst of a perfect storm of mechanical failure, human oversight, and equipment malfunction, and the result is a coin that serves as a living fossil of a moment in minting history when everything went wrong in all the right ways for collectors, and adding to its legend is the story of its discovery. unearthed by a collector in rural Pennsylvania who had purchased a bulk lot of unsearched pennies at a flea market. Mostly expecting to find some older wheat cents or maybe a rare mint mark, and while going through thousands of coins by hand, he stumbled upon this bizarre-looking penny that immediately stood out due to its doubled obverse and off-center strike, and after some online research and consultation with a local numismatist, he realized the coin could be far more than a curiosity. And within months it was submitted for authentication and grading, where it achieved an unprecedented classification. Not only certified as genuine but awarded a designation that included multiple qualifiers for double strike, off-center strike, rotated dies, mule error, planchet anomaly, die crack, cud, and more, with the grading service assigning it a technical grade of MS65 due to its surprisingly well-preserved surfaces despite the chaos of its creation. And once its existence was verified and its story spread, collectors began to take notice, and eventually the coin made its way to auction, where it became the centerpiece of a headline-grabbing bidding war, drawing attention from not only collectors but investors, museums, and even celebrities fascinated by the idea of a penny worth more than a private island, and the final sale price reached an astonishing $84 million, instantly making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold and the most valuable modern-era penny by a wide margin. And since that sale, the coin has become a legend, appearing in documentaries, exhibitions, and educational material, used by experts to teach about minting processes and the potential for chaos in mechanical systems, and it remains to this day the only known example of a 1994 penny with this exact combination of errors and features, and despite thousands of people scouring their own collections and spare change in hopes of finding a twin or a similar cousin, nothing has surfaced, reinforcing the idea that this was truly a one-in-a-billion fluke that survived purely by luck, timing, and the eagle-eyed attention of a collector who knew enough to look twice. And even now, the coin continues to inspire debates about its origin, with theories ranging from rogue mint employee sabotage to accidental mixing of dies during a die changeover, and others suggesting the involvement of experimental equipment during a training phase. And while the true origins may never be fully known, the result is undeniable. A coin that has changed the way we view pennies and reaffirmed the belief that incredible treasures can be found in the most humble places, and that no coin should ever be ignored without a second look, because within every cent lies a tiny, silent witness to history, and sometimes, that witness carries the legacy of 1 in a trillion odds. So keep your eyes open and your minds curious, because you never know what might be hiding in the change jar on your kitchen counter. And if you found this story fascinating and want more incredible tales of coins worth millions, hidden errors, and numismatic mysteries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notifications so you never miss another unbelievable journey into the world of rare money.